So again, point 2 definition, the mediatorship is the function of the person who removes a discord between two parties, a dispute between two parties, and brings them to a common solution or conclusion. Christ is the mediator between God and man, being equal to both God and man, and thereby brings them to a common point, or brought them to a common point. So he is the only one qualified to become a mediator. Point 3, the mechanics are found in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 5 and 6. Let's look at this passage. I think I have it here already. I do not. I do. And so, let's look at the translation. For there is one God and one mediator between God and mankind, the man Jesus Christ, who gave himself as a ransom for all people. This has now been witnessed to at the proper time. Okay, let's look at the Greek. For one God, there's one God, that's part of the first part, and one mediator, and then here's the genitive, of God and of man, between God and man. So one mediator, there is one mediator between God and man. So there is one God and there's one mediator between God and man, the Lord Jesus Christ. And why is he qualified to become a mediator? Because he is God himself and he is man himself as well. This is where the Jehovah's Witnesses go wrong, in the fact that they cannot acknowledge, they don't acknowledge the deity of Christ, with the result that they're going to fall short. They're not going to understand the doctrine of mediatorship. They're not, see, if you reject the doctrine of the hypostatic union and the fact that he is God himself, you're going to fall short on many doctrines, such as the Old Covenant, the New Covenant, everything, pretty much everything. That's one of those doctrines that you cannot miss. So one mediator between God and man, and this is the man, Anthropos Christos Jesus, the man, Jesus Christ, emphasizing his humanity, the man, Jesus Christ. You see, back then when this was written, the deity of Christ was not really disputed. Everyone was like, hey, Christ is God. What was really disputed many times was that fact that he actually became a man. And so this was one of the problems with Gnosticism and all these ideas that rejected Christ as coming in real humanity, real flesh. And so one God, that's part of the first part, and the mediator is the Lord Jesus Christ between God and man. Part of the second part is man, right here, anthropon. The man, Jesus Christ, emphasizing his humanity. Christos emphasizes his hypostatic union, and Jesus emphasizes his humanity again. And then verse 6, the one having given himself, and then ho, dus, this is the aorist active indicative of didomi, participle, aorist active participle of didomi. The one having given himself. The aorist tense is the culminative aorist, the active voice. Christ produces the action of the verb, and the participle, this is articular. The one having given, with the reflexive pronoun, auton, having given himself. And then here we have the object and the complement. So we have two accusatives, auton, and then we have here another accusative which functions as the complement. Having given himself as a ransom. It points to the function of redemption. Okay, we already saw the sin barrier, okay? So part of the blood of Christ, this is a work on the cross, by the way. We know that the blood of Christ that saved us was not the literal blood of Christ. There was a reference to soteriology, his work on the cross. We see propitiation is directed towards God. Propitiation is directed towards God. He had to propitiate the Father. His work on the cross towards man is called reconciliation, the whole removal of the sin barrier, reconciliation. So this is what the Lord Jesus Christ did. But the problem is sin. Sin is what kept us as enemies from God, enemies towards God. And so the sin was reconciliation. So reconciliation is the sin word part of the work of his work on the cross. Redemption. And so propitiation, he propitiated God the Father. The Lord Jesus Christ was perfect righteousness. He remained inside the divine power sphere. And then he died as an atonement, substitutionary atonement for us. And this propitiated God the Father. Towards man, he removed the sin barrier. But towards sin, he had to take away all those sins. He had to pay the slave master of sin, so that we can be redeemed. And he was the ransom, he was the payment. And so here is an emphasis on redemption, who gave himself as a ransom, and then huper plus the genitive. This is huper plus substitution, as a substitute for us. He gave himself as a substitute for us. He gave himself as a ransom, as a substitute for us. And so he's the one that went to the cross, took all the sins. Instead of me being on the cross, instead of you being on the cross, he's the one that took the sins of the world. He is the ransom. He made the payment to the slave master. And so this was the problem. He solved it through redemption. And so you see this work on the cross, this is equivalent to the blood of Christ. Propitiation is the God word side, reconciliation is the man word side, and redemption is the sin word side. And so this is why he is the mediator. He fulfilled everything in the old covenant in Codex number 2. With the result that now, because he fulfilled it, he abrogated it. And this demands for a new covenant to come in. A new covenant to the church, and a new covenant to Israel in the millennium. Why to them? Because he abrogated the old covenant. He kind of just left them hanging. They're going to need a new covenant for the millennium. The covenant always implies a system of association with God. Remember that. Okay. So we have here this overt passage. What else? The mechanics are found in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5 and 6. Sin is the basis for our enemyship with God. So yeah, and that's why I pointed to redemption. He solved that. Redemption is the sinward aspect of his work on the cross. Propitiation is the God word, and reconciliation is man word. Enmity. Sin is the basis for our enmity with God. Therefore, Christ dealt with sin through redemption, with man through reconciliation, and with God through propitiation. These three works are the blood of Christ. Keep that in mind, the blood of Christ. We still have not gone over this doctrine, the blood of Christ, but we're going to have to do so very soon, because I'm still hearing a lot of these worship songs talking about the blood, and the blood made me white as snow and all this stuff. So we're going to have to clarify this. But remember, for now, the blood of Christ is a reference to his work on the cross, soteriology. Point 4. There is a relationship between mediation and the blood. I'm always getting ahead of myself. See? Mediation and the blood. Mediation, Christ is our mediator. The blood is his work on the cross. How did he mediate between God and man? Redemption. He became well, first of all, propitiation towards God, reconciliation towards man, and towards sin is redemption. That's how he solved the problem of sin, by taking all the sins of the whole world. And that's the doctrine of redemption. And the doctrine of unlimited atonement, he did it for all the world. Okay? And point 5, the mediatorship and the Mosaic law. Galatians 3:19 and 20. There was no mediatorship until the incarnation of Christ. Let's go look at Galatians 3:19. Yes. So, why then was the law given at all? Therefore, why the law? Why was the law given at all? It was added because of transgressions until the sin. It was added as a grace for the transgressions, until which the seed, the promised seed, came. And so this is the Lord Jesus Christ. Then it no longer depends on the promise. Okay, sorry about that. Let me see. Where am I? Oh yeah. It was added because of transgressions until the seed to whom the promise referred had come. The Lord Jesus Christ is the seed that was promised. The law was given through angels and entrusted to a mediator. A mediator, however, implies more than one party. So the real mediator, the true mediator, had not come yet. In the Old Covenant, it was all these different mediators, first of all given by angels, and then it was Moses, and then it was Joshua, and so there was all these different mediators, but the true mediator had not come. The true mediator is the one that was both equal to God and equal to man. And so all these things in the Old Covenant pointed to the reality, but the reality had not arrived. Once the reality arrived and fulfilled all these things that the Old Covenant talked about, it was abrogated. It was fulfilled because it was abrogated because it was fulfilled. And as a result, the new covenant was demanded. If you fulfill an old covenant with the result that it's abrogated, or you terminate it, this demands for a new covenant. And this is the new covenant to the church, and later on the new covenant to Israel.